All right, guys, I just wanted to go over with you the Microsoft Excel Core Practice Exam 1. Just kind of go over each task with you so that way you can kind of keep track of how to do each one. So the first tab will always be an overview, so you don't ever need to worry about it. It's not going to really have any information pertinent to what you're doing, okay? So then we'll go to task 1. We see here, we'll read through, beginning at cell A16 on sheet 1. So first thing I'm going to do is go to A16 on sheet 1, import the list from the comma delimited source file, yada, 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 located in the template folder. Okay, so first thing, normally you'd think if you're inserting something, I'm going to go to insert, right? But because it's data, we're actually going to go to the data tab. Okay, and then I'm going to click this from text file. Once I click that, it should show me some folders. When you're on the actual test, it will automatically go to the folder that it's in on the actual MOS test. If you guys can't find that gmetrix templates test, the school's firewall might be blocking it. So if it is, you can skip past this one. If not, though, you can go ahead and click on the file we're trying to import. And then you're going to get this option, right? So then we go back to the instructions that says delimited source. We have delimited right there. So we're going to go next because we did the one we need to. And then it says from the comma, right? So we can see right here, this is how it would import. And when I click comma, get rid of tab, it would import in each individual cell, which is what we want. Go next, and then I'm gonna click finish. And then I'm gonna click OK. And it automatically imported data from another file. Okay, so now I can go down here, click mark complete, because we're done with that one, and go to the next one. Change a worksheet tab color to sheet 1. So first thing I'm gonna do is go down to sheet 1, and then I can see it says I wanna change the color, right? So I'm gonna right click on the sheet, and I see tab color. So the next thing I need to do is find the exact color I want, which is a dark blue. So that's dark teal. This one's blue accent too, but it also wants it darker 25%. So I'm gonna go down, and each one will tell you what it is, but I know it's this one, darker 25%, so we'll click on that. Okay, and I click mark complete because I did that. Next one, copy the contents of the new inventory worksheet. So first thing, I'm gonna go to the new inventory worksheet, and I need to copy all the contents. So there's stuff in A2 all the way to D9. I'm gonna select it, and then I can either go to home and click the copy option, or I can just right click and click copy. And then it wants us to put it on the table of boats. So let's go back to boats. In the worksheet beginning in cell A6, I'm going to click in cell A6. If I right click, I can paste. I have all these paste options. Just the normal paste though should be fine. Okay, did that one. Go to the next task, reorder the worksheet. So boat is first. So I'm going to click on the boat tab, and I'm going to go and drag it over. So now boats is first. Mark is complete on that. Go to task 5, hide new inventory worksheet. Okay, so we have new inventory worksheet. If I right click on it, there's a hide option. So I'm going to click on this hide option. Now it's not there. Mark is complete. Once I finish all these tasks, I can go up here to grade project, click grade project. Yay, we did them all right. So then I'm going to click continue. If you want to retry or work on some of them, you can always do that, right? But continue is what we want to do. Go to the next one. All right, so we need to join cells A1 to E1, right? So right now, and the tackle worksheet, right? So we want to go to the tackle worksheet, and it wants us to join these, right? So A1 to E1 on the tackle worksheet, and it wants us to combine it without changing the alignment. If I click merge and center, centering is changing the alignment, so we don't want to do that. We want to click the drop down, and we can just click this merge across option, and now it's merged. All right, let's go to task 2. So on the carriers and coolers worksheet, we'll click on that. It wants us to link content C10, C11, and C12. So first I'm just going to click on C10. I'm going to go to the insert tab, and I have the hyperlink tab. Okay, you guys have seen this before on emails and whatnot when you type something like a website address and you hit enter, and it automatically turns it blue and underlined, right? So all we have to do is do this manually. We click on hyperlink. Okay, and if I had an email address or website address, I could just put it in there, but I actually want to do place in document. Okay, and it wants us to go to the tackle worksheet, so I'll click on the tackle worksheet and change this to A4. So tackle worksheet A4, I'll click OK, and now it's highlighted. So I just need to do that with each of them. All right, now that I got that done, mark as complete. Go to the next task on the carriers and coolers worksheet. So I'm on there. Apply the 3 flag icon set. Okay, so if I don't know what that is, I'm just going to keep reading. Conditional formatting to the contents in the inventory column. So first off, I know I need to select everything in the inventory column, right? Second off, I see conditional formatting, which we've done before. You click on home, conditional formatting. Now that I'm on here, I can look for some things that are some clues, right? So I have 3 flags icon set. Oh, look, there's an icon set right here. And then what looks like 3 flags. If I hover over it, 3 flags, perfect. I click on that, automatically puts flags next to things. Okay, so that is it for that one. Next one, carriers and coolers worksheet. Expand the chart data range to include the rest of the rows and tables. So clue here says chart data range, right? It doesn't say table. This is a table. This is a chart. So I'm going to click on my chart. Once I click on that, it says expand the chart data range to include the rest of the rows. Right now, you can see I only have 9 of the rows, right? Now, there's some complex ways you can do this, but the easy thing to do, you got to click on your chart. Once I'm clicked on my chart, I can click and drag this all the way down. Okay, and it's automatically going to select that data. So let's mark that as complete. And then task 5, copy only the carriers and coolers worksheet into a new workbook. Save it in gmetrix folder as inventory report. All right, so we are copying only the carriers and coolers worksheet into a new workbook. I'm going to look at the sheet that I'm trying to copy. I'll right click on it. And now I have a move or copy, right? So it wants us to copy the workbook. So I'm going to click the move or copy. You have to click and move this up so you can see everything. I want to create a copy. And instead of creating a copy to fishing supplies, I'm going to create it in a new book. Okay, and I'm going to click OK. So now I have a new copy. And then it wants us to save it. So I'm going to go File, Save As. And we want to save it in the gmetrix templates. And it wants us to save it as inventory report, right? And then I hit save, and it is saved. So now I can, and then it wants us to close the workbook that we just created, right? So I'm going to click X on this one, and then I'm back to my other one. Okay, so that is what I need to do. So I'm going to hit mark complete. Did all my tasks, so I'm going to hit grade project. Boom, 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 all greens. All right, let's go to the next one. All right, again, we skipped the overview. Go to task 1. Simultaneously replace all occurrences of the word choco with chocolate. So I could just go through and look for choco anytime it says choco and change it, but that's not efficient. We actually have this find and select option. I'm going to click on that, click replace. Now I can tell it I would like to replace the word choco with chocolate. And I'm going to click replace all. And simultaneously, they're all replaced. So just like that, we did that one. On the cost worksheet, all right, so I'm on cost worksheet, repeat the rows containing the company logo and column heading so they appear on all printed pages. This one's a little tricky. Okay, so we want to repeat rows. We want to repeat certain rows on printed pages. Printed pages are going to always be on page layout, right, and page settings. And then I have the sheet options. Okay, so page layout, page setup, sheet options, rows to repeat on top. If I click on that, I can just select these 3. Okay, and that should be it. You just click OK. So now it's going to repeat when you print. Okay, and then let's go to the next one. Task 3 in cell B28. Oh, it says in the profits worksheet, right? So that's something I missed. Click on the profits worksheet down on B28. I'm going to hit equals. I'm going to click on that cell. I'll need to enter the formula that displays the number of cells greater than 250. So that's going to be a count if option. Okay, so in order to do that, let's go to formulas and insert function. And let's go ahead and find a count if. All right, so that's what I want. So if I double click on it, it's going to ask me what range I want to do it in. And we're looking at cells, right? So cells we got right there. So I'm going to click and drag so that I have all cells selected. Once I have that, the criteria is greater than 250, right? So greater than 250. I'll click OK, and I should get the number 9 to populate. Okay, so that is it for that one. Go to next task. Modify the chart on the profits worksheet so the flavors are displayed as horizontal axis labels and expense and income are the legend series. All right, so don't let this one confuse you, right? We just need to click on the chart. Once I click on the chart, it's basically telling us it wants us to switch everything, right? It says we want the flavors as horizontal axis. Right now the flavors are the vertical axis, right? And then expense and income are the legend series, right? So in order to do that, we got to click on here. Once we click on our chart, we have the chart tools pop up and we have design options. We're just going to switch the rows and columns. So just switched everything. Okay, and that is it for that one. Next task, modify the chart of profits worksheet so the legend appears on top. Okay, so again, we just got to make sure we click on our chart on the profits worksheet. And then if we go to add chart elements, we want to go to the legend and we want to make sure it appears on the top. Right now it's on the bottom. We'll just click on the top option. Okay, so now it's on the top. And that's it for that one. So let's go ahead and grade our project. Taking its time. All right, there we go. Got them all done. So we'll hit continue. All right, so task one, add a new worksheet named customers to the workbook. Right, I have this little plus sign, click on that. And then if I want to change the name, whoops, got to right click on the sheet, click rename, change it to customers. Okay, so I right clicked, rename, and that is it for that, right? So I just click out of there, mark as complete. On to the next one. Simultaneously remove all duplicate records in the wired networks table. So obviously it's not going to be here, there's nothing there, so I'm going to click on hardware. So I have wired networks, so there's wireless and wired. I'm going to click somewhere in the wired networks table. Once I do that, I'll get a design tab that pops up under table tools. And then we have just this remove duplicates option. So click on that. I need to make sure everything's selected, and then I'll click OK. And it automatically removes some duplicates. Okay, so let's mark that as complete. On to the next one. Beginning on cell A1 on the hardwire worksheet. Okay, so let's click on that. It wants us to import the picture file from your gmetrix folder. Again, don't worry if you don't have the gmetrix folder, right? So some of you guys might not have it because of the firewall. If you do have it, you'd click on here. I go to the insert tab. So I'm an A1 in hardware and I want to import a picture. So I go to insert and pictures. And then it should automatically put in gmetrix template. If not, it's just going to be on that documents. You click on documents. Then I'm going to click on gmetrix template and it wants me to upload the network topology. So looks like it's going to be that one. I'm going to click insert. The picture gets inserted. Okay, and that is it for that. So now I'm just going to click mark complete. On to the next one. On the hardware worksheet, rotate the text wire networks and wireless networks. So if I want to select multiple things, got to click on it, and then I hold the control key and click on what else I want selected. So now they're both selected. And then I'm on the home tab. Over here I have the orientation, and let's angle it clockwise. Angle clockwise. So now they're angled clockwise. How cool is that? It's pretty neat. Mark is complete. On the task 5. Sort the data in wired networks. So we have wired networks. I'm going to click somewhere in that table and I need to sort it. So I'm going to go to sort and filter on the home tab. And let's just do a custom sort so that I can see what I'm sorting. We want to sort by product ID. So click on product ID, smallest to largest. Click OK, and it automatically went through and sorted product ID, smallest to largest. Okay, so mark that as complete. Let's grade that project. All right, that's cool. On to the next one. All right, so task 1, configure the quarter 1 cells worksheet so rows 1 through 3 remain visible. Okay, so quarter 1 cells worksheet. We did this in the view tab, right? So first off, we got to select everything that we don't want to, right? So we basically are selecting the row after the one that we want frozen. So we want 3 frozen, so we're going to select 4. And then I'm going to click on the view tab, add the freeze panes. See, and then when I click on this freeze panes, it'll keep the rows and columns visible while the rest of the worksheet scrolls based on the current selection. Okay, so I'm going to click on that. So now that I clicked on that, when I scroll, Nothing moves in the 1, 2, and 3. Okay, so I'll mark that as complete. Next one, add the subject equipment draft to the document properties. Document properties, anytime you see properties, it's always going to be in Backstage. So I'm going to hit File. It's going to be somewhere here, but I don't see it. So I'm just going to click Show All Properties. So now I see all the properties. I see subject right here. Let's click there and type in equipment draft. Okay. Once I click there and click away, and it's still there. So let's mark as complete. Next, task 3. Configure Excel to always print cell ranges A1, F17 on the quarter 1 sales worksheet. Let's get out of Backstage view. All right, so this one, pretty easy. So we're going to configure Excel to always print sales ranges A1 to F17 on quarter 1 cells. Click on quarter 1 cells, and let's go ahead and select the cells that we want. So A1 down to F17. Okay. Now that we have it selected, I'm going to go and, depending on which tab you're on, you're going to click on Page Layout tab, add this Print Area option, and then we're just going to click Set Print Area. Okay, so now that is set as Print Area. So that one is done. Task 4, on the quarter 1 cells worksheet, insert a function cell B19 that calculates all cells from the total column. So I'm on the Q1 cells. I'm going to click on B19 because that's the one it wants. And then we want to calculate all cells from the total column. So I'm going to do equals sum, right? Because we're summing it together. And then I can go ahead and select everything in the total column. Okay, so F7 to F17, close that out and hit enter. And there are my cells. I mark that one as complete. Let's go to task 5. In cell B4 on the Q1 cells worksheet. So let's go B4. Oh, I gotta scroll up. B4. All right, I just realized on the other one, because we have to scroll all the way up. So I'm gonna actually go click back on this, and it's not F7, it is, let's actually just delete all the stuff in there. Let's go all the way up. So it should be, there we go, all the way down. Yeah, there we go. That's the number we wanted. So it's, yeah, F4. So it doesn't show up because we clicked on just table 1, but yeah, it should be that. All right, back to this one. All right, so what we want to do, we want to insert a function that joins description and style from the catalog. So let's go ahead and go up to B4, right? So I'm going to click in B4, and then it wants me to insert a function that joins some text, right? So I'm going to go to functions or formulas, and then this text option, okay? Because we know we're doing something with text. And I happen to know it's this one, but if you hover over each one, it'll give you a definition. This joins several strings into one text string. So I'm going to click on that, okay? And then it wants me to join description and style from the catalog worksheet. So I can click on the catalog worksheet. First thing is description, so I'm going to click on description. And then next thing, be careful because it says separated by a hyphen, right? So I'm going to actually just put a hyphen in there. And then text 3 should be style. Okay, so on catalog, so I'll click on catalog, click on style. Okay, and then I should be able to click OK, and it automatically did what I want to, right? So it wants description, hyphen, style. And oh, it says it wants a space on both sides. So let's go ahead and double click back into here. Oh, is it going to let me edit that? Yeah, so let's put a space in between on both sides of that hyphen. Okay, and then I'll hit enter. Okay, there we go. So now that's right. Okay, so just make sure you have the space on there because I did not. So mark that as complete. And let's go ahead and hit grade project. Hopefully they all went right. We did end up doing them right, but we had to take a couple steps back to do it. Okay, but yep, looks all right. So let's continue on to the next one. Should be the last one. Okay, so I'm going to click the task 1. Enable total row for the table located in quarter 1 worksheet. So I'm in quarter 1 worksheet. It wants me to enable something on the table. I've got to click on the table. Right, once I'm on the table tools design pops up. I can click on that, and it wants me to enable the total row. So I have table style options, total row. Click on that, and now total row appears. Yay, mark is complete. On to the next one. On the quarter 1 worksheet in the maximum row, so quarter 1 worksheet, maximum row, I'm going to enter a formula in column B that returns the greatest number of successful attempts of the month of January. Right, so this one, don't let it confuse you. we're doing a maximum function, right? So I'm going to click the drop down for auto sum, and I have this max. And I'll just hit enter. Okay, so it gives me my greatest attempts, right there. So mark that as complete. On to task 3. All right, so this one we need to do quarter 1 worksheet. Use the data contained only in trail, January, February, and March columns to create a 3D cluster column. Okay, so it only wants all the way to here, not total, right? So it just wants these columns. So I'm going to select these, and then I'm going to go to the insert table, right? Because it wants me to create a 3D clustered column chart. So column chart, right? So I'm on insert, I go over to charts, I have the column chart, and then I can just hover over each one. 3D clustered column chart. Yep, that's the one we want. So I'll click on that. And then position the new chart to the right of the table. It's already positioned to the right, but let's just go ahead and go right here. And that should be good. So I'm going to mark that as complete. Task 4, quarter 2 worksheet. So I'm going to click on quarter 2. Create a table from the cell range A9 to E14. So click on A9 to E14 first off, right? A9, E14. And it wants us to create a table. So I'm going to go to insert, and instead of inserting a chart, we want to insert a table, right? So I actually just have this table option right here. So I'll click on that, and I should be able to click OK because the table has headers. And then now it wants us to apply table style. So now that it's a table, I can go here to table style under design, and it wants me to go to medium, right? So I see medium there and 18. So if I just count, I go down to 18 right there. Okay, so then that one's done. Task 5, apply style 3 to the pie chart on quarter 2 worksheet. So I got to click on the chart first off, and it wants me to apply style 3. So once I clicked on the chart, I have chart tools and design, and then it wants style 3, so I can just open these up, and it goes in order. So this is style 2, this is style 3. If I hover over it, style 3. Okay, so now it's style 3. Mark is complete. We're done with that one. Let's go ahead and grade project. Better give me a hundo, as it takes its sweet time. And there it is, 100%. We'll click continue. All right, and so now I'm going to click on to task 1. Use autofill to copy the formula in cell H4. So we want to make sure we're on total compensation for each employee, right? Because if I go to H4 here, it doesn't make any sense. There's nothing there. So make sure you're on the right sheet, right? And so we go to H4, and I see I have total compensation, and it wants us to do autofill. So there's a couple different options, but the easiest, we have this green box. I can just click and drag it down. It's going to autofill for me. Mark is complete. Next one, insert a formula into cell G4. This one's a little confusing, so I'm going to come back to this one. Let's go to task 3. On the parts worksheet, remove the row containing the salesperson named Allah. So let's go to, or Alan, sorry. So on the parts worksheet, click on that. We're going to remove the row containing the salesperson Alan. So I have Alan right here. We want to delete the whole row, so I'm going to select the entire row, right click, and I can just hit delete. Now it's gone completely. So mark that as complete. Task 4. All right, so task 4, we have the employee bonuses worksheet. So let's go back to that. Disable headings on the rates table. So first thing, I got to click into the rates table so that I'm editing that. Click on the design option, and then we want to disable the headings, right? So we have the header row right here. Click on that. Now there's no more heading. So that's it for that one. Mark is complete. Task 5, in cell F4 on the parts worksheet. So let's go to the parts worksheet, F4. I'm going to enter a line that graphs the trend of sales from January through March. So it says insert a line, so it's a good guess to go to insert, and then it wants us to graph the trends of sales, right? So if I go over here, insert a line, right? So we have spark lines, line. Okay, so there's not really anywhere else that you'll see that. So spark line, line, and we want to click on that, and then it wants us to graph the trend of sales from January through March. So the data range, right? So trends of January through March. So we just do that, right? Because it's just for that month. And we click OK. Okay, so then it shows me that we're going down and then up. So mark that as complete. Let's go back to task 2 for a sec. I'm not gonna lie, guys, this one is hard, and so if you don't get this one, that's okay. We're not going for 100% right, we're going for 70% on the actual test. 70% gets you the same thing as 100%. But just so you guys know how to do it, click on G4. Okay, I'm just following this help option. So I'm click on G4, and then we're gonna go to the Formulas tab. Okay, and it wants us to go to Insert Function, and then we're gonna search the sum if, right? Because we're finding a sum if something hits a certain number. So I'm gonna do sum if, click OK. In the range, let's go ahead and do B4 to D4. B4 to D4 is the range. Criteria is going to be greater than the number that it wanted, right? Which is 100,000, or is that a million? I don't know, there's not commas. Because the quarterly goal is 100,000, so it should be, yep, it's 100,000. Okay, and then sum range is going to be that same B4 to D4. Okay. So now that we have that, we're going to click OK. So it's going to give us our quarterly bonuses. And then in the formula bar to the right of the sum if formula, we're going to multiply it by the quarterly bonus rate. So we do times, right? And then we want to do the quarterly bonus rate, which never moves, right? Because it's in the bottom right corner. So I'll just do the $, and we'll do B, and then $17. Okay, so it's going to always times it by that number. And then you hit enter, and then it goes and times it by that number, and that's it. So, I mean, it doesn't seem that complicated, but just reading that, I could see how someone would be struggling with it, including me. Okay, so mark that as complete. Let's go ahead and grade project. And that should be how you do everything, right? So then I hit continue. And it's going to go through and give me the test progress that I'm at. So if I have anything I haven't done or whatnot, I can go ahead and go to it. But we know that we've done everything, so we'll just click finish test. And I'm going to click yes. It's going to grade everything. And I click OK, and it's going to give me a test score. And then, yay, we're a superstar. So now that we did that, I'm going to screenshot it, right? So click down here, type in snipping tool, and then new snip, and then I can click and drag whatever I want screenshotted, and then I would just go file, save as, and then that's what I would submit. Okay, so that should be everything, guys. Hopefully that helped you with this test.